Hi, my name is Tom O'Connor. I'm senior producer at Sony XDev, and I've been working on the franchise Little Big Planet for a number of years now. Been involved pretty much since early on in the beginning, and we kind of in XDev we oversee the overall franchise and work with the different teams who bring the Little Big Planet content to PlayStation platforms.
Yeah, I'm Sarah WELLOCK. I'm the community manager for Little Big Planet at Sony XDev, and I work with the community on kind of all facets, on online, on offline events, working with the development team to make better community functionality for the franchise.
I'm Jonathan Christian, and I'm the lead designer at Sumo Digital, working on LBP3. My main role is to oversee the design process, make sure the gameplay is awesome, and kind of foster the creative processes there.
Yeah, I've been involved since Little Big Planet 2 actually. Kind of had a little bit of involvement in Little Big Planet 1, but kind of got more involved from Little Big Planet 2. Worked on all the DLC on Little Big Planet VITA, obviously on Little Big Planet 3. Worked for Sony for over 8 years now. So kind of like seen that franchise kind of from the beginning and grow from strength to strength.
Yes, I've only been on Little Big Planet for about 2 years now. So before that, I worked with different video game communities. To be honest, I've been working on Little Big Planet since the day I started at Sony. I've helped out with some of the DLC launches, but pretty early on, we started planning how we were going to announce the news to the community and how we'd announce it in a way that made them as excited as possible and not feel worried about the franchise. And we did a really good job with that, I think, E3.
I've been working on the Little Big Planet series for about 5 years now, I think. I can't quite remember, it's about that. I started out on the Little Big Planet 1 downloadable content. I'm working through those content packs, the level packs, and then LBP3 starting from the start of LBP3 at Sumo.
I think the biggest there's lots of different things, but the most visual difference I think is all the new characters, and when you see like a lineup now, it's Sackboy and these new friends, and when the guys were thinking about new features, there's loads of new features in Little Big Planet 3, the characters are a very important one because as well as being integral to the adventure, you have to progress through the adventure to uncover these heroes of this new planet called Bunkum, and then use these characters in their unique settings to fully utilise their unique abilities. They all offer unique gameplay possibilities. They all can be completely customised, just like Sackboy, and then you can take them to dizzy new heights and create. They can all be completely changed and create your own characters. I think also as well, kind of like visually, when you look at when we go back now and look at Little Big Planet 2 against Little Big Planet 3, it's instant. You can the depth into the environment. There's much more depth. You've got 16 layers now rather than 3, and that's opened up the canvas. It's made the canvas really big in terms of the level designs to be able to create really nice gameplay within that. So lots of visual difference, but lots of kind of under the hood technical stuff and that, which I'm sure kind of like JC will give a bit more information on.
I think for me the big difference are all the new ways you can become a member of the Little Big Planet community, and the way we've made it more accessible than ever for you to find content, create content, and to share that content online, which sounds like a really cheesy answer, but it's true. I think we've done huge improvements to the categorization of content, so when you go to the user created level section, instead of going, oh, a huge list and badges and numbers, you find very easily described categories, most hearted, and a great one is called newest levels, where you can see the latest thing that's been published. And users can now also create a really nifty 30-second video of their level. So if you're proud of your level and you want to encourage people to play it, all you do is in the game, it's a really easy editor. So you make a 30-second clip of your choosing. It can be a rough playthrough or kind of all singing or dancing trailer. And then Little Big Planet community members can see that and use that to help decide if they want to play it. And to support that, we've also got a nice kind of tablet-friendly and mobile-friendly version of our community site called LVP.me, where you can almost Netflix-style just browse through content and pick and choose what you want to play next.
So another big new addition is all the kind of the new tools and features we've added to create mode. So we've added over 60 new tools. and some of them are quite massive. So like Tom talked about the layers, we've added lots of new tools to help you build levels for the layers, be it platforming levels, or if you wanted to make crazy little, I don't know, scrolling shooters or 3D action games, we make that possible with the new tools. We've also expanded create in terms of outside the level, because now you can build adventures. So you could build your own little adventure map, you could put down those different levels that you've built, connect them all up, give them shared inventories, shared quests, and then you can publish that as one single adventure. So that's quite a big change.
We've learned that the new create tools are already blowing their minds, to be honest. We kind of, when it started, they jumped in and we saw a lot of like the new characters, obviously such a new thing for them, a lot of levels immediately with all the new characters. But as it went on, we saw the lighting became really key, lots of levels using Sackboy's climbing, the 16 layers. The more time they had with it, the more they really got stuck in with all the new tools. And some of the ones we didn't expect, I certainly didn't expect as many climbing levels as we saw. We had lots of kind of almost Indiana Jones inspired ones. They're climbing up hills, they're climbing up vines, and it was such a small, it felt like a small feature when you list everything out, but actually it's a huge feature to the community, the ability to climb.
I think what was really interesting was that, you know, the closed beta was released at a time before we'd even finished all the tutorial videos off. So they were basically creating these levels with no instruction. They were just finding their way, which kind of is a credit to the guys at Sumo to make those tools more accessible, really. I think you guys learned a lot in terms of, like, you know, feedback and bugs and getting all those things fixed with the main game.
Yeah, definitely.
So the game launches in about 3.5 weeks. So I'm pretty sure that it's kind of done now. Yeah, it's you know, it's on its way. It's gonna be out in just a few weeks. Yeah, so we've already announced some DLC that's coming out this year. We've got the Metal Gear Solid costumes coming. There's all the Dragon Age stuff that we did for the pre-order. We've got loads of ideas for DLC. I think with the new characters as well, it opens up opportunities in terms of some of the, you know, we do original content, we do licensed content. You know, we've got some exciting things, but we're not going to give too much away. Yeah. But DLC is important to us, yeah. Sure, yeah, so it's an interesting one, that, because a couple of years back at Gamescom we announced a new service, a little bit kind of called Epic Hub, and that was essentially that. It was just a way for, you know, for people who had a PS3 at the time to be able to, you know, kind of start from a base layer and then just consume content as to how they want to consume content. So whether it's, you know, buying some story levels, whether it's from playing some UGC levels, and then that was something that was still massively behind, that we still think would be a really great thing to bring to PlayStation, but we wanted to focus on Little Big Planet 3, so that's, you know, maybe in the future you'll hear a bit more about that. No, so we're working on, you know, obviously the PS4 and PS3 version, and there is actually a Game of the Year edition of PlayStation Vita releasing, which is the original game, which contains 18 Marvel costumes plus the Marvel arcade pack. That's all getting released. I think it's actually in the next couple of weeks, around the same time as that. My favourite thing is being able to carry all the power-ups around, because in previous games there was a level built and you'd get your power-up on like a pedestal, you'd run past it, you'd collect it, you'd use it, and then at the end it'd get taken off you, and then that was it. Now, once you've unlock that power up, that goes into your sack pocket, and Sackboy's got that for the whole adventure, which means that as you progress through the game you kind of fill his inventory and you'll quickly start to see sections and you think, how do I get up there? I can't get there, and you're trying to jump, you're thinking, and then you'll get your boost boots later on and you'll think, and then you'll go back to these kind of like adventure hubs and you start to boost around and you'll get extra prizes, and it just offers like so much replayability really in terms of the main campaign. You know, it's not just a case of like going from A to B and completing a sequence of levels. There's a lot of kind of like back and forth and exploration that I really think that's a really refreshing kind of take on, you know, on the franchise.
Favorite thing you get to actually do in the game. I'm not going to say video because I've talked about it a lot. I think my favourite thing would be to play as all the new characters, especially Oddsock, because Oddsock's the best. I think it's a fantastic kind of break in like gameplay, so you're never bored, there's always something new and exciting happening. The costumes, each of them has their own like unique costumes they can wear, so So I can look like a horse, one like a pantomime horse. If Toggle's got his superhero costume, and they're so customised that when Toggle's big and he wears a superhero costume, his cape is really tiny and it sits like right up top of his back. When you make him small, it drags along the floor behind him. And I think it's all the little details, the new characters. I think it's always something new you find with them.
I really like the new Pop-It puzzles. So we've added a new campaign experience which merges the create and the play together. So you'll be playing these levels and you'll have access to certain tools, and you'll use those tools to solve like little physical puzzles in the level to progress through. It's really cool to play, but it's also it's teaching you the tools as well. So after you've completed the set of them, you'd have enough knowledge to go into create mode and kind of build something. So I think they're really cool.
Ooh. What trophies will there be?
What trophies will there be?
A lot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of any particular ones that stand out for me. Off the top of my head, I can't think of. I mean, you obviously you've got trophies for creating, using some of the new tools in imaginative ways and getting through the story mode.
I think that the pins, if you're familiar with the Little Big Planet franchise, the pins that you collect throughout the game, there's a lot of those that are quite fun that we've added that are new for LBP3 as well. So it's like you've got your trophy system and you've got your kind of in-game pin system which tracks the slightly more obscure and specific things you achieve as you play the game.
I think even on top of the trophies, there's kind of like there's so many things to discover in the game. Like me and JC were having a conversation before, and he was telling me things that I even have not found yet. And I was like, I can't wait for the community to start live streaming things and thinking, that's what you do there, and get all these extra goodies. There's just loads of stuff that you can just keep on replaying and find content. The strangest level. Weird, strange level. I think it's difficult. You don't want to kind of make people think they've published a weird level.
Some of them must know they publish weird levels.
Yeah. I think weird in a really cool way was there was a remake of the PT kind of horror thing, and it was
terrifying.
It was impressive, but actually terrifying because you don't normally see Little Big Planet as a kind of like a horror game, seeing stuff kind of twitch and move around in this 3D space. I think, things like that. Just think, that's kind of weird, but actually really impressive.
Somebody made a calculator in the early games, didn't they? Fully functioning before we had 16 layers.
Before
they made a calculator. Before. Yeah, I think it's difficult because there are some that you look at and you go, and I've seen some of the levels before the moderation team. I've seen them. So I've seen some dark things. But I think what's nice is that if people publish things that are a bit too risky, then the other community members tend to go, dude, that's not cool, take it down. And they go, yeah, okay, I went too far. And they kind of self-police themselves a little bit. So we see the weirdest, but I'm pretty sure we don't see the actual weirdest.
No, it's not even necessarily always the weird, it's more like the unexpected. Like the other day we sort of want to make a train simulator.
Which sounds really boring, but it was amazing.
We were just like that. Like a little station and everything.
Yeah, it was amazing. Little train switches where it changed track and it went, it was brilliant.
I'm using the bendy rail tool to make spaghetti.
Yeah.
A plate of spaghetti.
It was a plate of spaghetti that Sackboy whizzed down, and then Toggle dropped on him and killed him.
Just
because Toggle loves spaghetti. I don't see, to be honest, I expected to see a huge difference when I first started, and I was like, obviously they're going to be different influences. I don't see the kind of, I don't play it and go, this is definitely Japanese level, other than I can't read the name. But I think the main difference we find, sometimes the references you may not quite understand if it's like a pop culture reference that maybe is very specific to Japan and maybe not in America. But I think other than that, I think it feels very global. I think the community speaks to each other globally as well. Even if they don't speak the same language, they slap each other in the same language.